Coming up, check your bags. TSA is finding more guns in carry-on luggage. Details ahead.
Plus, today marks the first day of Black History Month. We'll take you to the unveiling of the Black History Month mural project's latest artwork.
And later on Break It Down, we take a look at the frustration and the mental toll the pandemic is taking.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Reina Preciado.
And I'm Mitchell Zimmerman. Thank you for joining us. The Transportation Security Administration found more firearms in passengers' carry-on luggage in 2021 than any other year on record. Phoenix Sky Harbor was in the nation's top 5 for guns found passing through security checkpoints. I spoke with TSA and a Valley gun instructor who stressed the importance of checking your bags before you take off. According to the FAA, Phoenix Sky Harbor is the 8th busiest airport in the country. More flights means more people passing through security.
In 2021, travelers in the state of Arizona, as well as nationwide, broke all records that we have in the 20-year history of TSA for bringing firearms in their carry-on luggage.
Patricia Mancha says passengers who have a gun in their carry-on luggage often give the same excuse.
I forgot it was in my carry-on.
In 2021, almost 6,000 firearms were discovered at TSA checkpoints. 196 of those were found at Phoenix Sky Harbor. David Laird, owner of Dynamic Combative Solutions LLC, says this isn't the way to properly travel with your gun.
So you should already arrive to the airport with it being unloaded in a locked compartment with the ammunition in its original factory box. That's another rule for them.
86% of guns found last year were loaded, but as Laird points out, you can travel with a gun if it is unloaded and in your checked bag. Laird has been around guns all his life. He comes here to Ben Avery Shooting Range almost every day and says to always check the gun laws of your destination before you leave home.
Now you have to follow the rules and laws and regulations of the state you're traveling to.
Laird says states with higher gun ownership often have more cases of people using their range bag as a carry-on.
People are forgetting that the same bag they use to go to the range, their range bag, is what they're using as a carry-on, and so it has spent casings or ammunition, or it has a side pocket that they left their firearm in.
Both Laird and Mancha agree the best way to prevent firearms accidentally passing through TSA is check your bag before you start packing.
That way, when they get to airport security, they know exactly what they have with them.
If you are found with a gun in your carry-on, TSA says you can either voluntarily give it up or take it home before you travel. TSA can impose a civil penalty of up to almost $14,000.
Pfizer predicts that it will have a coronavirus vaccine ready for children under the age of 5 by the end of the month. Pfizer and BioNTech asked the FDA for the emergency use authorization of the 2-shot vaccine this afternoon. Children ages 6 months old to 5 would be eligible to receive the dose. If approved, it would be the first coronavirus vaccine available for that age group. The company could have doses available by the end of February. If you ordered a pack of free COVID-19 test kits for you and your family from the federal government, the tests may be arriving at your doorstep as early as this week. The White House has announced that millions of the free at-home COVID-19 tests are already being mailed. The tests are expected to ship within 12 days after an order is placed. Over 60 million American households have already ordered free test kits, so if you're still looking to claim yours, you can request up to 4 per household address at covidtest.gov.
Today, groups gathered to talk about efforts to make paid family leave and affordable housing priorities at the state legislature. The Arizona Center for Empowerment and the People First Economy campaign gathered outside the state capitol this morning. The groups say the pandemic has had a devastating impact on our local economy, making things worse for working families. 2 lawmakers joined the efforts, calling for paid family and medical leave and affordable housing for these families.
Our paid family and medical leave policy is a statewide program funded responsibly by both the employer and the employees that would provide at least 24 weeks of paid leave for all of Arizona workers.
Other priorities for these groups include access to affordable pre-K, internet access for all, and affordable childcare.
The Black History Month mural project has been working on some powerful art at the Footprint Center. We'll show you what they've been working on and see the unveiling next.
Later, the U.S. has officially set a flashy weather world record. We catch a glimpse of the event that marked last April.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons. Your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
It's the first day of Black History Month, and earlier today, artists, athletes, and community members gathered to kick off the 2022 Black History Mural Project. Cronkite News reporter Nick Shesky is at one of the murals that is hoping to catch the community's eye.
This mural behind me is one of 28 depicting notable Black figures. You could see several U.S. Olympians, including Simone Biles, draped by the U.S. flag, showcasing their athletic accomplishments for the country in the Olympic Games. Now, the goal of this whole project is to illustrate the accomplishments and achievements to society of these notable Black figures. In a press conference earlier, we learned why these murals and why Black history matters.
My overall goal for this project has always been to empower my people, but also to educate all people. For Black history is American history.
Gisette Knight says that the Shining Light Foundation's murals are supposed to represent all of Black history, not only the famous figures in the Civil Rights era movement, but Black engineers, doctors, athletes, and many more who made history along the way.
We are looking at over 300 years in this country, and all we can highlight are a few great men and women in the civil rights and in politics. Is that really it for us as a people?
At first, Knight struggled to get people on board with the Black History Mural Project.
Throughout this project, what has been a challenge is convincing those who say they like the idea of the mural project, but feel uncomfortable with the statement, Black history matters. They have said it's too political or too controversial.
Last year's Black History Mural Project was a big success, so much so that not only has the project been renewed for a 2022 encore, but it's been expanded to other cities.
Today, this project is being implemented in Atlanta. It's going to be implemented in LA. So when they said to her, no, for one, look what happened today.
Some of the murals are still actively being painted, but they all should be finished around mid-February. And if you don't have time to go out and see these murals for yourself, you can find lots of pictures of them on the Shining Light Foundation's Twitter page. In Phoenix, Nick Shesky, Cronkite News.
The World Meteorological Association announced the U.S. set a weather world record last April. A mega flash of lightning across the southeast was captured by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. On April 29, 2020, NOAA's satellites captured a mega flash of lightning spanning from Oklahoma to Tennessee, moving across the southeast. According to a news release from the WMO, the size of the flash equaled the distance between New York City and Columbus, Ohio, becoming one of the largest mega flashes of lightning on record.
While lightning certainly isn't part of our forecast this week, Andrea Villalobos will tell us more about the weather we're expecting these next few days.
Yes, we are seeing actually some beautiful cloud coverage in the state of Arizona right now. Moving into tomorrow, we will actually see some light storms in the southeastern part of the country, in the southeastern part of Arizona, but those will move into the state of New Mexico and actually into parts of El Paso, but it'll be gone by the weekend. Looking into the eastern part of the country, we do have some ice as well as some rain coming in there, but it should be cleared up by the weekend. Coming to our lows tonight in the valley, the average will be 47 around this time of year, and we are looking at about 48 degrees in Phoenix. Across the eastern part of the valley will be about 46 and 48 degrees in Goodyear. Our evening planner tonight, if you're planning on heading out to the Suns game, we're looking at about 61 degrees at 8 p.m. And by the time you're out of that game, you'll be looking at 59 degrees, no wind around that time. So it's a perfect time to get out there and watch the Suns. Our high temperatures for tomorrow, we're looking at 62 degrees here in Phoenix, 38 degrees in Payson, and 27 in Flagstaff. Pretty chilly up there, so make sure you're bundling up if you're up there, and 61 degrees in Yuma. For the next week or so, tomorrow is Groundhog Day. We do have clouds here in the valley, so if Phil lived here, he would probably be seeing his shadow. But coming into the weekend, we have beautiful skies ahead with 66 degrees on Friday, 73 degrees on Sunday with a low of 41. And coming into our work week, we're at 74 degrees on Monday with some clouds on Wednesday with 75 as our high and 48 degrees as our low. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Andrea Villalobos.
I'm Marty Savov. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. Rolling around Phoenix Raceway, we'll take you to the second annual SKATIN for LEIGHTON event.
I was so excited when I learned that I was going to be the next moderator of Washington Week. I was incredibly lucky to be mentored by Gwen Eiffel, and what that gave to me was this confidence that I could be my full self and that I was deserving of whatever spaces I was in.
Welcome to Washington Week.
I also feel this great joy in taking the helm of Washington Week, knowing that I can mold it and make it my own, but also make sure that it is still within the legacy and the tradition that made it so great for all of these years.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Marty Savov, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. Earlier in the show, we told you about the 2022 Black History Mural project going on in Phoenix. The project kicked off at the Footprint Center this morning with the Suns unveiling of their own mural depicting the history of the team. The mural located on the north side of Footprint Center includes the first 4 African-American athletes to play for the franchise, along with the Suns' first black head coach, Frank Johnson, and the current NBA guard, Chris Paul. On the other side are members of the Phoenix Mercury. For Suns general manager James Jones, the mural is a good reminder of how far he's come in his own journey.
I've always said that being a general manager, working in sports was not something I ever imagined, right? I didn't know it. I was a kid. I had people tell me, you can do this, you should do this. You would be great at that. And that came from people who knew me, and those were the people in my community.
The Arizona Coyotes hosted their second annual SKATIN for LEIGHTON, which honors one of the team's biggest fans. Cronkite News reporter Zachary Larson tells us how the event is helping girls in the Valley who want to play hockey.
Leighton Accardo's legacy will live on forever after passing away from a courageous fight with cancer in November of 2020. The Coyotes have been there along the way to assist the Accardo family, and now they are honoring Leighton by skating at Phoenix Raceway.
We really tried to integrate elements that she would have loved. So we've got all of our fun activations, we've got our slides, we've got our slap shot, we've got street hockey. We have a movie theater room that's playing her favorite movies throughout the day. So we really wanted it to be something that Leighton would walk in and be like, this is so cool.
The goal is to raise $149,000 for the Leighton Accardo Memorial Fund, with the money being used to help provide young girls the opportunity to play hockey. Something Leighton's mom, Carly, thinks her daughter would be proud of.
There's a lot of girls who don't have that. So for us to be able to help them and get them on the ice it's amazing.
Fry, who skated 96 miles across the valley to honor Leighton last year, wants to keep the event rolling for years to come.
As long as I'm around, we're doing this because it's so important, as we've talked about, to keep Leighton's memory alive, and this is just such a fun way to do it.
The Coyotes plan to host the event annually as they continue to receive support from the hockey community by skating to help the sport Leighton loved. At Phoenix Raceway, Zachary Larson, Cronkite News.
3 other stories we are tracking today. 7-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady officially calls it quits. The Tampa Bay quarterback announced his retirement after 22 years in the league. ASU football hires Glenn Thomas to be its new offensive coordinator, and the Suns' Chris Paul earns Western Conference Player of the Week. That's all for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Raina and Mitchell.
How does the Earth's climate system work? Head to the Arizona Science Center for a new exhibit to learn all about it. Dynamic Earth is showing in the Dorrance Planetarium Dome. It's in ultra-high resolution and is narrated by actor Liam Neeson. You'll get to ride along wind currents, see swirling oceans, and fly into volcanoes. It shows daily at 1 p.m.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.